guys, so we are back again. It is Aaron and Mike from Queer Days. It has been a while. We've been so busy, so as everyone has with Christmas and whatnot. But look, we're back again. We're going to try and do some more videos and some more stuff, you guys, with the new year on. And all that.
Aaron even thinks a podcast.
Possibly a podcast, so we can maybe get into a bit more routine and get more of a discussion out there on certain topics and how people feel and how we feel, especially on our opinion. But today what we were going to do is, so Mike and I, we have been together now a couple of years. We've been married 2.5 years, and basically wanted to do a video on what it's been like meeting each other's family and friends over the last number of years, and if the age gap played a part in that, in how we felt. So Mike, look, I was going to ask your pretty little face.
Oh.
I was going to ask Mike first. So initially, before meeting my family or even my friends, were you, would say, nervous, and did the age gap play a part in your nerves?
Well, of course, I was a little nervous about meeting everybody, but since right after you told your mother we were engaged, she wanted to have a Zoom meeting or conference, I'm not sure which it was. So I really didn't have a chance to get worried about the age gap between us. And thinking about it, I really wasn't that nervous anyway. First of all, being older than your mother.
She didn't find that out until recently.
No, but I just think, I wasn't they weren't in a position where they were really going to quiz me and ask what I was going to do for a living and, what I wanted to do with my life, since, for a large part I've already done it. So I think it was a pretty easy meeting, and it's, they've really been wonderful towards me. And so for me, the age gap played very little into meeting his family. What about you?
So for me, honestly, I'm quite a shy person until I'm not.
He always says that. I always say he's not, but go on.
But no, honestly, I am. So, meeting anyone's parents or friends that you're in a relationship with is always a little bit daunting until you get to know them. But I think for me personally, look, the first time anyone will meet Mike and I, you're going to notice. You're going to notice the age gap first. It is what it is. So I think just the way the world is, and like we say, the stigma that could be out there, or just some of it's true, some of it's not, but they're going to associate an age gap just with everything they've heard, right? Whether that's right or wrong, that's kind of people's first instincts, and that's just how I feel anyway. So they're going to be like, oh, age gap, what's going on here? But that's just at the start, and I think it's kind of it's just the way it is, and that's fine. So I'm obviously a little bit nervous about that at the start when I meet people, but my biggest thing that I do love, and what I strongly believe, is as soon as you get to know us, that you meet us and you kind of realize how we actually are, that kind of dissipates and you kind of forget about that and you realize it's just a relationship. So I think, again, to sum that up, my fears at the start are basically just not so much, at the start it's kind of like, feeling nervous meeting new people and trying to find relatable experiences, but then also what people see first of all, and then until they actually get to know us. That sounds about right, isn't it?
No, I would say so. I'm a little bit confused about days because, the last 6 weeks has really rolled into, I don't know what, since Aaron hasn't been working and he started a new job, and then we've been away. But we did go away and got back about the week before Christmas. We were going for a 3-day trip to New York that lasted, a 3-week spontaneous trip to New York that lasted about 2 weeks, since we decided to go to a family wedding of mine in Chicago. But I was really looking forward to New York, especially because Aaron was going to meet friends of mine who I've been friends with for 45 years who he's never met. And so, I'm just kind of curious what it was like for you.
Honestly, right, I think this is so funny. So this was my first time meeting Mike's, I suppose, friends that he grew up with and lifelong friends. And I found it so funny because one of the things I love about Mike, right, it's regardless of age. When I say age is nothing to it, it's like just the vibe you get from someone. It's like their personality, and that's what draws me into Mike. And his friends were the exact same way. They were so nice, so loving, so warm, but also so funny. And they had this when I say crazy streak to it, I mean that in the best way, as in they're just the life of the party. And there's they just draw you in. And that's what I love about Mike. And that's what I found so fun about his friends. They had the exact same personality, and I actually fell in love straight away. I thought they were just brilliant, and seeing him back in his element with his friends, and you could see the little kind of like conversations, and it's just really it was so funny, and I felt like that just gelled in straight away, and like I could see them as like, you know, like age had nothing to do with it. Like age just went straight out the window. It was just like these were
A bunch of 3-year-olds.
just like they could have been like every time I was chatting with them, I swear like I just was seeing us all as like, I wasn't even seeing us as 28. I'm seeing us all as like 20-year-olds, and we were like just having fun, and it was just the nicest feeling in the world. And I couldn't stop laughing throughout. I really couldn't, because I kept thinking to myself, you know, should age be playing a part? And it just wasn't. It was just not there at all. It was just like a group of people having fun, enjoying themselves. And it was definitely such a brilliant experience that I had. And even when I think back now, I can't stop laughing about like a lot of the times that we had, the conversations. It was just you fall back into this kind of not like a childish state, but like just like a fun friendship kind of state. Like it's.
Can I say something?
Of course you can.
No, I just think one of the things I love about my friends is my good friends and close friends is that we all have a certain love of life, and
Definitely.
we just always want to live it, and we try and do it to the best we can. And you know, obviously bad things happen, but you know, you just have to overcome them and just always remember that life's meant to be lived.
And that's the absolutely best thing ever, because it's funny because we're talking about, you know, the age gap with us affect relationships, and it just goes out the window, as in like it was just you're meeting people for their personality, and because, you know, personalities draw to each other, and I could see why he's friends with his friends. They're all so similar, and they're all like they're just so funny.
Bunch of crazies.
Just a bunch of crazies, and that's what I absolutely love. It's a certain personality that I'm drawn to, and it was so nice to see. But it's like in those kind of scenarios, you realize that age just sometimes has to do with nothing in that regard. It comes down to what a person is actually like and their personality. And you know, if like it's amazing. Like it's sometimes when I think about it, it's kind of just.
It's wonderful because, you know, age really goes out the window, and you could just love somebody for who they are.
Exactly, and it was like one of the best experiences of my life, and I was so happy and grateful to meet Mike's friends and realize that he's just a part of a pack of crazies, and I absolutely loved it. Another thing we're going to touch on is, so obviously Christmas has just passed, and Mike spent his third Christmas, I think third Christmas with my family. So obviously during Christmas my family ranges from young all the way up to a lot older. So how have you felt like from your first Christmas to this Christmas? How have you felt like that you fitted in? And again, going to the age gap, you know, has that impacted in any way?
So as Aaron just finished telling you, I've just spent my third Christmas with his family, and I'd say or maybe I'm just lucky, but it gets easier and easier. And I hope most people with their new families, it gets easier and easier too. But it's interesting because Aaron and I come from, obviously we live in different countries. We come from different backgrounds.
We don't live in different countries.
Well, we did. we grew up in different countries,
yeah.
Different religions, different backgrounds, and you know, we grew up totally different. But I do think one of the reasons it's been so easy, I hope for both of us, to be with each other's families is I think we grew up in environments that, although they were completely different, our families really stressed two things, and that was that to value your family and to really value love. And so I think it's, you know, really made that easier to be with his family. When I visit his family now, I actually feel, you know, like I'm going to visit my own. I mean, I may not understand them because they speak so quick and their Irish accents and stuff, but you know, it just it gets nicer and nicer and easier and easier. But
that is lovely. It is lovely, and it's one of the nicest things about, you know, you meeting me meeting your family. Okay. It's a very loving environment.
Well, one of the things about Aaron, actually, well, I'm going to interrupt now because we were spending 3 days in New York, but then we went to spend another week basically in Chicago for a family wedding that I felt since we were in New York we could not miss, and it would also give Aaron a chance to meet a lot of my family that he never got to meet last year in Arizona. So how was it for you, mister?
No, being completely honest, so I met his family so only once. Some of his brothers and sisters once. So this was, or some even twice. So this was like my third time meeting some of them. But for a lot of the time, it was my first time meeting them, or even second time. But you know, the more you meet people, the more you feel closer to them. And again, I find his family very similar to mine, so it does make me laugh sometimes. They're very close and they're very nice, and they have just a very strong bond, which is nice. I mean, they're very there for each other, which I find incredibly heartwarming. But no, so like, cause we were at a wedding, so it was funny because when we initially went to, it was what is the dinner before the wedding?
Oh god, the rehearsal
dinner. The rehearsal dinner. So we walked in, and it was so it was the wedding, and they like even people knew who I was, and I didn't actually know who they were yet, which I found funny. Like, but it just means that they took an interest in knowing who I was, which you know meant a lot to me as well. But no, all in all, like I find his family like so warm. They're so funny, and like the only thing negative thing I'd have to say is
negative,
but not a negative thing. I think it's more my own experience is that because you get to meet my family more, we'll say, you know, every few months, and then the more I get to meet your family, the closer and closer I feel to them, which is it's really a nice feeling, because now it's not like meeting someone for the first time anymore. And again, so I got to see where Mike grew up, and I really wanted to see this, you know, where he was from, and what made Mike. What made Mike Mike? What made Mike Mike? But it was nice. It was so nice to see, and it's nice to see family dynamics, and it's nice to see about the people who he cares about, and it opens you up to the relationships with them, and it's a lovely feeling, and it's quite important as well, becoming involved with people's family and their friends. If I'm being honest, that's all I can say. So all in all, so I'm going to put the question to Mike.
I thought I was done. Go on.
I want you to sum it up, or like give me a 2 or 3 word answer. So, you know, do you think the age gap between us made it more difficult in our relationships towards each other's families and friends?
I would actually say it's made no difference at all. I think, like you said, or we both said, I think we're able to see now we come from very accepting, loving families.
No, I think you're spot on. I think that was a huge positive, that we come from kind of similar families in a sense. But also, you know, we've all grown really close, and everything's gone really more than I could ever say.
Now I'm gonna kill him. No.
I don't know where that came from.
So anyway, guys,
that's all from us. Look, it'd be a really big help. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe so we can get our videos back out there. And again, look, if you haven't already, check out our blog, Queer Days, and we will see you hopefully sooner rather than later. Right, that's all from us.
Take it easy.